few things about me. I work in Pixplicity. It's a mobile innovation studio, and we are based in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And we also have an office in New York. I'm also the lead for the Women Tech Makers in the Netherlands, and a very active member and organizer for the GDGs the last 4 years. The GDGs, for those that don't know, is the Google developer communities. They're also very active with Android. But before we start, what is the Google Assistant? Google Assistant is Google's virtual assistant designed to be personal. It's like an extension or an upgrade, better put an extension for the Google Now. It was first launched the Google I/O in May in 2016, and it was first available for the Pixels and the Google Home. Later, they also made it available for the Android Wear 2.0 and for some TVs. And although it's not running at this point for the Android Auto, there is definitely plans for integrating the Google Assistant there as well, because there was a demo at the Google I/O as well. And a year later, on 2017, again May, it was also introduced to the iOS as a standalone app. Last month, I think so, Google had the unveiling of the new devices. There was also the Pixelbook and the earbuds and the speakers, like the Mac speakers. And all of them do have the Google Assistant integrated there, which makes it clear that the Google Assistant is here to stay, and it's going to be in as many devices as possible. It supports a lot of platforms already. So, okay, got it. It's going to be in a lot of devices. I should probably check it out. Shall we start building one? Well, no. And the reason is because the way that the users interact with a conversational app is way more different on how they will interact with a web or a mobile app. But how much different is it? First of all, even if it wasn't that different, when you start building an app, like a mobile app, you will start by the UX and the UI design. So going up here, I got an example for you. Let's just say that I have this app over here. It has 2 buttons, like the simplest app that you can have. If I have it in front of me and I want to tap on the button, it's just 1 click. But what if I want to tell someone from here to click that button for me? I can tell you, click the pink button, or tap on the magenta button, or click on the button that it's on the right side of the screen, or on the right corner. There are so many ways that I can just give you the exact same instructions. And if I just give it to a person, that's absolutely fine. But what really happens if I want to give that to a machine? It's not the first time. It's not the first time that the user interaction is changing dramatically. The Xerox Alta and Star was the first one to introduce the mouse as we know it right now. And don't shoot me, but the iPhone was also a very innovative way. And it was certainly not the first one to use touchscreen, but they definitely marked an era. What they had both in common is that we had to take a step back and actually rethink on how our users are going to interact with our product. And this is where we're standing again today. And this new thing is the VUI, or the Voice User Interface. It's designing for a whole new experience. And we will take a look at that. How can we design for a voice user interface? First of all, there are a lot of things that we know about conversations, and we don't know that we know them. They are called the basics of conversations. But the thing is that the first thing that we are taught to do when we are even born is to have a conversation. Even though we are incapable of even talking, the first thing that the parents will do when they have a baby is to talk to it. So there are a lot of simple things, simple rules that we all follow, and we don't even realize it. And this is called the cooperative principle. And it's nothing more than those rules that I told you before. And oops. There are 4 very simple things that we follow. First of all, it's turn taking. I ask you something, I wait for you to reply, and if I want to comment on something, I will wait, you will finish, and then I will start commenting on that. Context. I call my friend and I'm like, oh, I'm in San Francisco and the weather is perfect. And he said like, yeah, I'm in San Francisco as well and I'm leaving tomorrow to go in the Netherlands. Do you think that it's colder there? With the simplest conversation like this, you were able to cast like, do you think that it's colder there? Like, where is that there? You're able to understand that I am actually comparing the weather with the city of that conversation is taking place. Threading. My manager comes to me and he says like, oh, about what you asked last week, the previous week, yeah, John said that it will be like 2 hours of work. After who knows how many conversations, I am actually able, I'm moving too much. Okay. So he comes to me, he tells me that, and after who knows how many conversations, I'm actually able to pick up again that topic and to have a conversation, to make the conversation again. And it was, yeah, it's not an easy thing to do if you think about it. And reading between the lines, if we're talking and you're implying something, I can just understand it. So creating an agent, a bot, or however you want to call it, it's a simple thing to do, but there is a lot of steps that you have to first make to create it. And let's see all of them. So the first step is to write down all the actions that your agents do. That's not really working for me. Yes. The second one is to create a diagram or a decision tree for your actions for different scenarios. And I will explain all of them afterwards, but I just want you to have the full image first. Third, we need to decide if we want the backend and if we really need it. Afterwards, we have to design our UX. We create the backbone of our backend. Then we go to the Dialogflow platform and actually create a bot. So you see that there are a lot of things that we need to do before actually going to the platform. And the Dialogflow platform, for everyone that knows it, is the API.ai that recently changed its name. Of course, we test, we improve, and we test again. And then we connect it to the backend. And then we test, we improve, and we test again. And that goes like a circle for every new feature that we're actually adding. So let's say that I have a conversational app that I want to do, and it's for a travel agency. So first of all, we need to write down all of the actions that our agent should do, or better put, all of the actions that we want our user to be able to do with our conversational app. So for this example, for instance, I want my user to be able to book a tour, or to find available tours, or to find information about a specific tour, or about a specific date, or the timetables, the pickup points. That could be anything, of course, that we want. But we have to write down all of our actions, and because this is what we're going to do, to use for our next step. And the next step is to create diagrams. And I'm really the person of the paper and the pen. Really, especially for diagrams. So we create diagrams like this, and it's a huge thing. So you list here all the available actions and the possible forms that it can do. And for me, it's quite impossible to actually have it in one diagram. So what I do is to create multiple of them. And then I use them to go on when I'm at the platform and to pick up my intents and everything. So afterwards, we need a backend. And do we really need it? We go back here and we ask ourselves, do I really need a backend, or can I do everything from what I will tell the user? Like, can I answer, can I reply to all of those actions of my user without a backend? If the answer is no, then you just skip that part. But for me, for instance, I want the user to be able to book a tour, and I also want information about the available tours. Like if I only had information about pickup points or something like this, I could probably avoid it. I wouldn't suggest it, because if you want to change anything, then you have to go to the platform and everything. And if you want to have also a graphic app, then you have to change it in 2 places. But for this example, there is not a chance that I can avoid somehow. Like, how can you book a tour elsewhere? So I will have the Firebase functions. And then I go in designing my UX. The lack of the UI, as we know it, the graphic UI, the GUI, doesn't mean the lack of user interface and user the user experience. So for designing our UX, we need to pick the right use cases, we need to write them down, we need to create a persona and write dialogues on that, we need to test it, we need to build it. And let's see all of them. For a thing like what is the right use case, I will just give you some very bad ones. So, hey, yeah, I will book your tickets. What's your frequent flyer number? You don't really want to ask your users information that they have to search for it. Everything that you are asking your users must be from the top of their head. They don't have to search for it. Another use case might be like, what is your postcode? I don't know my postcode. Like, I can give them my address and you can find it out, but I don't know my postcode. Sure, I'll book the flight. I need your frequent flyer number first. Seriously? You're going to block me from creating an action because you need an optional information? No. To check if this product is compatible with your PC, go to settings and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, if I have to open my laptop to find anything, I may as well order it from there. I don't need an assistant to tell me like, open your laptop and find it out. Yay, I can do that. To verify, tap on the top of the Google Home device. Yeah, you need to make sure that you optimize for simplicity, for hands-free interaction, because this is the primary role of it, and for speed. You don't want to block your users for optional things. You don't want to ask them for information that they can't answer in that instant. And yeah, all of this has to be hands-free interactions. So after we have the right use cases, we have to create to write down some personas that we can have. And for here, I have 2 of them. The first one is like the very busy person. She's a CEO. She knows exactly the dates, the times. She wants to get rid of her niece. And the second one is the very tourist. We have a lot of them in Amsterdam, and they're very slow. So he has all the time in the world. After I create my persona, I have to write down the characteristics that I want my agent to have. So I go back here and I see that, and of course, it's not that you're going to have two personas there. The merrier, the better. And I will have like 3 or 4 common things that these have. And I will start building with the characteristics for those personas. So my target audience is adults. So I want to have formal information there, formal conversation, sorry. I want to use very simple language because they might be tourists, like their English might not be perfect. And I also want to make it engaging and fun because you're going on a tour, it's your free time, it's the time that you want to relax, you want something fun. And you might also have like some history nerds or some art nerds. You want to keep them engaged. So after that, you create dialogues. And the dialogues are based on scenarios on how your users will interact. And of course, is a combination of, first of all, the diagrams that you created. What is the flow, the possible flow? Second of all, how the conversation should be. Like, should it be formal? Should it be playful? And then you write down dialogues like this. And what you also need to do to take care of is that you need to have some repairing dialogues as well. If the conversation is broken, if my assistant doesn't understand, if my agent doesn't understand what the user is saying, it must be capable in repairing that conversation. It must be capable of restoring the previous part of the conversation and moving on. So you create simple dialogues like that, and of course, you have to create a lot of them so to make sure that you cover everything. And it's showtime. So first you go, I deleted the wrong slide. So you don't create your Google Cloud Platform project, but you create your assistant project. So here you can see that all of your products, all of your agents are listed here, and you can click on it and you can find all the information for that project. And you can have a description, you can find all the project IDs, the API keys, you can delete it over here. When they changed the name from the API.ai and they moved it to the dialog flow, they also introduced 2 features. One of them was this language thing. You can now build the agent for multiple languages. So you can add here more languages and it will understand. You will be able to add support for multiple languages. And you have the machine learning settings. How are you going to train it? You can, of course, export and import agents. And the very cool that I really love is the share. You can invite new people and they can be reviewers, they can be developers, and of course you that you're the admin. And as you can see here, there are 2 main things, 3. The first is the intent, the other one is the entities, and the next one is the fulfillment. So I will start with entities, and they are used for extracting parameter values. So for every actionable data that you want to extract from your user's request, you have to create one entity. And you can have 3 types of entities. The first one is the system entities. If I want to have dates or countries or even given names, I can just use the system entities. And there are entities that Google already made available here. You can have developer entities, which is the ones that I have here, which is everything that you want to extract from your user's request. And then you have the user entities, which is just personalized values for the entities that you have. A good example is a user's playlist or the address. You can just save it there, and for each user is something different. And I will start from this one. So I have the user interest entity, which is the available in the info. And I can see here that I can also have a lot of synonyms. This can be as many as you want. And if you see this, it's from the diagram that we made. When I had the diagram, I had the very top was the available and the information. So from there, I just come here and I say that, okay, I have two entities. The first one is the available and the info, and the other one is the tour. Like, what kind of tour do I want to have? And you can also scrap the synonyms, and you can just have the values over here. And after we create our entities, we go to the intents. And intents are the actions that you want your users to take. And every intent should be only one action. So I want either the user to have information about the tours or to have available tours. I want to have something like tours in general, because every intent must be for only one action. And I can go like, oh, you also have some default intents. The first one is the welcome intent. It's the first thing that the user will see. Like when I say, okay, Google, talk to my tour guide assistant. This is the first thing that the user will see, like the things that you have listed here. And of course, you better personalize this. And you also have the fallback intent, which is the repairing of the conversation that I told you before. If I ask something that it does not understand, what do I do? And I will go here to the available tours. And how do I understand, like, how its intent is triggered? I have the intents. How are they triggered? I will come here and I will say the context. What is the context that will trigger this? And I have the user interest here. And if you remember from the entities, the user interest is the available and the information. So whenever this is triggered, it knows that this is the intent that I have to take care of. And I will go to the information tours because it has more. You can see here that some values are marked, like the more, or the tomorrow, or on Monday. The tomorrow and the Monday are just the system entities. It understands, if I say tomorrow, it understands that I'm telling about a date. And if I come here to the more or to the information, this is extracted from the user interest entity that I had already declared. So it understands that this is a key, and it actually lists it here as well. And I can also have some required, like if someone says that I want information about the tour, or I want to find the available tour, okay, for what day? I need to find out the date. So the date here is something that is required for me to use information to the user. So I will mark it here as required, and here I can have prompts. How do I prompt the user to give me this value? Because I need it. So here, for instance, it will say, for which day are you interested? To have something like this is what you are adding. And the more add user expression there that you add, the better it is. Like it will train your agent better. And all these are used for training your agent. So the more you put there, the better it will train it, and the better it will understand what the user is saying. So I can come here and I can say like, tell me more about the tour. It understands the context. It doesn't have the date. So whenever I come here, it will just ask me for which date I want to. And I will save it. And I will say, tell me more about the tour. And it will show me here. Here we can see that it also has the context, and we can see all the values that it actually understood. And how we respond on that, like I can say like, tomorrow. This is what I told it to say, and this is what it actually says. So we can see that the tomorrow, it understands that what the real date is. And this is really cool, because then we can just extract this, and when we have our webhook, we can just get the date and ask our backend, well, okay, this is the date, and then we can just say to the users the available tours or the information about this. The next thing that I want you to pay attention to is that I have this fulfillment here. And the fulfillment is the webhooks that I'm telling you about. So I will go here. And the second thing that it was changed when they changed the API to Dialogflow was that inline editor. Before that, you had to create a project at the Google Cloud Platform. You had to create functions there for each intent that you wanted, and then just copy paste the link, go to that intent and say that this intent has this API, this response for this function, and just hook it together. Now you can just do all together in that inline editor. You can of course have different webhooks, like no one is forcing you to use the Google Cloud or the cloud functions, or the Firebase function, sorry. And you can go here. I'm not sure if it's visible. Is it visible? Not really. Yes. So you can extract here the parameters, you can extract the actions, you can extract the context, you can extract anything that you want. And you can just say enable, and you can add everything there, and you don't really need anything. And it uses the Firebase functions behind this. So I will reset this, nice. And I will go here to my intents, and to the information tours, to the fulfillments, and I will just mark this to use the webhook. And whenever I save this, okay, I will just say, give me info about the tour. It will ask me again, or no. Do you like this better? This is what happens when you don't train your agent well. So it will ask me again for which day am I interested. I will say again, like tomorrow. And you see now that this response is different from what I have here, because it won't use the text responses that I said before, but it will use the one that I told it to use from the webhook. And this, of course, can be anything that you want it to be. And what time is it? Okay. I also have here some pre-built agents. They're agents that were, as it says, pre-built, and I can just use them. If I want, for example, to book flight tickets, airline tickets, I can just go here and somewhere over here. Yeah, for hotel booking, for example. I can just import this, and I can train this, and I can change the responses and everything, but I can already work in something that is already built for me, and I don't have to create everything from scratch. Also, you can have small talk. And small talk is just silly questions that your user might ask. And some of them is like about the agent. Who are you? Or how old are you? Like to make it more playful, more interesting, more interactive, more engaging. Because if it's just about information, it's not engaging that much with the user. Because don't forget that you don't have a graphic user interface. You have to grab your user's attention only from responses. So the more you actually put, the more effort you put in making something engaging and interesting, the better the chances are that the user is going to actually use it. And don't forget that the repairing the conversations is also one of the most important things. Because I don't remember where I read it, but the first time that the bot won't understand something, it's like 50% of the user will just drop it and open like the website or something else. So it's very bad. Like if you're not able to repair that conversation, you probably lost your user. We also have the training here. And the training did change. Now it says the time as well. Every time that I open it, it has something new. It's amazing. So here you can see the dialogues that were actually from your users. And this is not from what you have here and you train it like you're trying it, but from actual users. What you can do here is that you can actually say that this was like a correct thing, like the machine learning there worked right. And if something went wrong, then you can say it here and maybe add something more or train it more for that. Like when I asked, for example, give me more information and it didn't understand, then I can just see it here, like unmatched to. And I can actually design it better so that it won't have any unmatched requests anymore. And last but not least, the analytics. I think that I have to explain more. The more information you have about your users, the more engaging you can make it. And you can see here like all the requests and how many people used it, which intent was used more, all this information. So you can actually make it more clever in brackets. I think that this is it. I'd love to take any questions that you might have. And you can use that microphone over there so that at the recording it's also available. Okay, so the question is if I've used the console only or if I use the webhooks. And the answer is the webhooks because we needed, we also had an app for that. So we needed to have both, to maintain both. And if you have something here, you can just go to the console and change it. But for the app, if you just have it like offline thing, then you have to actually update the whole app. And this is not possible. Like if you want to update the pickup points, you cannot update the whole app. So the app was already working with backend. So we use the same backend for both. You're welcome. Can I, right before, because I just remembered, there is also the integrations over here that I completely forgot to say. And it's a one-click integration. I can have the same dialogues in many platforms. And I can have the same thing in the Google Assistant, for example. I can have the same thing with Slack. And if I go to my fulfillment, I can see that for every, I can have rich responses here, and I can have a different response for Slack, a different response for when I don't have a graphic UI, a different response if I have a Facebook, a different response for the Google Assistant. For the Google Assistant, for example, I can have the carousel things, like the cards. So yeah, keep also an eye on that, because it's just one-click integration, and it can be very, very personalized. So it's really amazing as well. Sorry.
I guess it sort of relates to my question. So if you have an Android application as well for this experience,
yes.
Is there a way to integrate it with it so you can launch into the Android app, or?
Yes, you can. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. It was already there. Like, we first had the app, and this is still not in production because the conversational apps are not that much of a thing yet. I honestly believe that it's the next big thing. But for now, the amount of the devices that actually support it are not that many. The users are not very familiar with that. We are not very familiar on how to build one. So it's not there yet. So we don't have it with the app, but you can have it. You can have it integrated with the Google Apps.
Similar to adding it into Slack, you could add it into your own application as an integration?
I think not, because it's like for the Slack, for example, it's just one click. You have it there and it's there. But for having it in your own application, it's not the integrations yet of the platform. So the platform just limits for now. You're welcome.
Hi, we're doing an enterprise messaging collaboration app, and we wanted to see if we could use this in some way, but everything we do is encrypted. So my question is, how could we use this and still keep our data safe for our customers?
I do not know, I'll be honest, because I haven't found anything that it's for security. Like, everything seemed to be from the Google side, from the console side. So I couldn't find a way to say that, okay, just do something differently. Probably you can. I didn't put that much effort yet to it. So I can't really answer your question. But for simple examples like this, I didn't find the very easy way to say that, okay, just this is encrypted or secured or something like this. A favorite quote of mine, a user interface is like a joke. If you have to explain it, it's not good. And it gets even worse if you don't have a graphic UI and you have a VUI. So please make sure that you don't have to explain to your users what you're trying to do. And most importantly, you don't have to train, you mustn't train your users to use your app. Your app should be in a way that it feels natural with a user to actually communicate as it would be with a normal person. Like, as it would have a conversation with me, it would have a conversation with my bot. And thank you so much. If you have any questions, I will be around. Just grab me and I'll be happy to have a conversation with you.